Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Perspiration Happy Hour, Season 2. And oh my gosh, this is going to be a great season because one of the best things about this new season is that we are now a part of Talk Radio. So you can join us live and, be a part of the conversation. And that's really going to be one of the blessings of this one. I am one of your co-hosts, DrPamela Gurley. I can go by Dr. P. Gurley, actually, the Unapologetic Diva. And I have my co-host on the line as well.
Awesome.
I know. So today we are sipping on one of my favorite cocktails, of course, outside of, Zoe Zorka. I know yours is the Fireball, which is also named for your pet. But
it is.
But yes, but today we are going to be sipping on jalapeno martinis. Which actually,
Ooh.
they actually have they have a specific jalapeno vodka now that you can buy. I used to make my own, but I still cut up the jalapenos and place them in the glass, kind of replacing the olive in a traditional martini. So I do like my drink spicy. So today I figure on Season 2 is a good way to start it off, which is our 31st episode as well.
It is.
With a little bit of spice. Yeah, with a little bit of spice. So you can't get better than having a nice spicy martini to go along with this episode.
Spicy.
So how are you today, Dr. Zorka?
Spicy. I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I am fantastic. And so a little bit later we'll have a guest join us, and then we'll even open it up for some calls to see if any calls come through for our very first show so that you can be a part. So with that, I'm going to leave it to Dr. Zorka to give some information about her so that, for our new listeners, tell a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, I'll tell a little bit about myself, and I'll turn it back over to you. Well, I guess I could tell about us together. We actually, Dr. Gurley and I, we met in our doctoral program out in Colorado, and we met, it's been going on like 7 years ago that we met. We've known each other for forever, it seems like. And yes, we did. We started together, we graduated together. It's been so long. And I have my doctorate in business administration, and I'm a writer. I've written for, CNN, Newsweek, The Source, Medium, their new magazine, Zora. They're my most recent one. Elite Daily, Her Magazine, Rogue. So I've done a little bit of writing as well. And this is our radio show you've got going on. Got a few other things in the work, but really right now I'm just focusing on the writing and the radio and our show. And I came up with the idea for HERSPIRATION. It was an idea of her and inspiration, as in we can find women who are inspiring. So HERSPIRATION was born, combining the words.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Now we turn back over to you.
You know what? It's so weird. And I'll tell a little bit about myself in a second, but I have to really say, I feel like we just graduated.
I feel like we did too. We've known each other for that long.
Yeah, 2011. And I tell you, I think that the stress of getting a doctorate lasts for a long time, because I still feel like, I'm still dealing with the after effects of just taking a break from wanting to do anything, although that's not happened, but that's kind of how I feel, whenever I see a reminder. Yeah, whenever you see a reminder in your history on either your Facebook or your Instagram or something that comes up, that's a friendly reminder that, oh, you was doing classwork this time last year, or we were in Colorado and having fun, and we were in Colorado.
we do. When my parents together, for the listeners at home, Pamela's mom and my mom and dad, they were all out there. They got in trouble with the hotel because for partying too much. So our parents got in trouble for partying too much at the hotel. That was the kind of graduation weekend that we had. And then we celebrated it at the Tilted Kilt, it's like a Hooters, but it's just like a Hooters. I can't say anything else. It's like a Hooters.
Yeah, and we was playing Jumbo Jenga and all of those things. So great memories, especially
all
in
the
class.
Memories.
A lot of good ones. I mean, a lot of good ones that I will always cherish. And even since then, we've had some milestones together, and have celebrated with one another. Yeah, your wedding.
Your birthday, going
yes.
to Vegas. Vegas was so much fun.
Oh, yeah,
Vegas
and
and
LA.
Cali. LA, yes. Oh, yeah,
LA.
I was thinking most recent, yes.
Oh, but you know
So
what? We were in LA a couple of times together.
We were. It seems like it just happened yesterday, but it's been so long. It's so crazy to think that all this stuff happened. Sometimes it seems like yesterday. Sometimes it seems like a lifetime ago. That's how things are. So luckily for now,
flying.
Yeah, we have electronics so we can remember everything, which is the best part.
Yeah. So
to keep it like it just happened yesterday.
Oh, tell me about it. I thought, you know what? I feel like a lot has transpired, even since we graduated in 2014.
Oh my gosh! Yes, so long ago.
I'm telling you, it's been a while, and I think I finished in March of 2014 because I just couldn't take it anymore, and the stress level was ridiculous. I tell people all the time, if you really want to lose some weight, go on a dissertation diet, because I lost 6 pounds. I cried for like 3 weeks straight, and then I look at now, I feel like there's nothing that I cannot do that would be worse than that.
That is true.
So
there's really, after that, I feel like there's really nothing that, I feel like there really isn't anything that you can't do. So, yeah.
Yeah, so a little bit about my background. I do a lot of things. So I do, I work for the federal government, and I am a college graduate school professor, and I have my 2 businesses and a brand. I've written 1 book and writing in the process of doing edits and rewrites for my 2nd book. Yeah, so I've been very, very busy over the last few years. And as a matter of fact, my first business, Clark & Hill, that I launched, I'm coming up on my 2-year anniversary, October 1st.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes,
that's
it just dawned
on me. And that's kind of where we got the idea. A lot of this is like the business, because you help small business owners develop their businesses. And so we decided, hey, we know so many people are small business owners or kind of entrepreneurs, just like that. So it really tied in with what Clark & Hill is trying to do for your jobs. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that was the concept. I remember when we first, you first told me about HERSPIRATION, and what it was originally supposed to be, and still might. We're growing to that standpoint to be a visual, for visual interviews and everything. And you know me, I don't like being on the camera. And so I said, hey, I got a better idea for me as a branch off from the brand. Let's do a podcast. And I love the happy hour. So you can't, when you make choices on things, I said, HERSPIRATION happy hour sounds great. And from there on, the podcast was created, and then we had HERSPIRATION, which was the visual. And so some of our podcasts are still visual for us on our YouTube channel. So you know what? You all can check that out. You can still
and when we're together, and when we're together, we try to keep it visual whenever we can, because when we're together, it's definitely awesome being able to do this in person. It's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, definitely. And so everybody who is tuned in right now for our season 2, we did shoot 30 episodes for our season 1, and you can find all of those on most of the medium platforms, from Podbean to Buzzsprout. It's on iTunes for those who have Apple phones. So, check us out. There were some great things. And so what would you like to see, Zoe, for season 2 come about? Other than the fact that we're on radio.
Well, I think I hope that obviously we are going to be able to grow our audience, and there have been a lot of people who have really been interested in this, and just really kind of finding a way to integrate it with my writing, with the audience. I really want to integrate this with the audience, with my writing audience. I've always unlike you, I've considered myself much better at writing than speaking. I don't like speaking. I don't like hearing my voice, and I'm not as eloquent when I speak as when I write. But you can only write so much. There are times when people who know me really well know that I have a lot of great stories. I can kind of go on some interesting, explain my thoughts pretty clearly. Whereas in writing, you are sort of limited. Here I can just say things, tell stories, say things as I go, kind of come up with questions, and I can engage with people better if I'm talking. Obviously, I'm able to ask them questions. So I think that for me, I want this. I hope that this can be just show another side. Just show another side of me, but in addition to my writing, because that's obviously where my biggest strength is.
Ma'am, you model, so you can.
Yes, but okay, here's the thing. I'm going to say this, and I've told people this before. Thank you. I do. Okay, so I model and I write. So everybody's asked me, why don't you do like a less crazy version of Tommy Lauren? Talk to the camera, do a vlog, do some sort of video thing where you talk to the camera. You know what? I can't do it. I can't explain it. I'm not good at it. I can model and I can write. I cannot sit there and talk to a camera. I'm not good at it. I don't know why. I'm just not good at it. I can talk to other people. Now, if I'm in a group setting, if I'm talking to other people, I can do well in front of the camera, but I cannot sit there and vlog per se. I feel like I look ridiculous. And I know everybody says that, well, it would seem natural that I could that I would do both, but I don't. So there's that.
Well, we film when we are together.
Yeah, I can film with other people. I can't do it I can't do solo where I'm just looking at the camera. Does that make sense? Like I can film with other people. That's great, but I can't just sit there and stare at the camera. And talk.
Okay.
I'm not good at it. I'm not good at it. I don't know why. Some people can do it. You see people on what is it, on YouTube and stuff like that, and they're on there. They're talking. They're doing they're talking to the camera, and they're good at it. I'm not good at talking at the camera. I don't know why. I just can't. It has nothing to do with how I look. Nothing to do with what I'm saying. I'm just not good at it. I can write and I can model. I can't combine the two. I don't know.
That is so interesting. I actually
it's
don't mind. As long as I am not looking directly into a camera, I am just fine. I think that's what makes me very good about public speaking, being a college professor. I'm in front of people and I am talking, and it's very easy to keep people engaged. But
in person, yeah. In person, yeah.
See, I'm like you. I'm not sure if I can just look right into a camera and read from a prompter. I think that would be my weakness.
Yes. And with an audience, it's different. With an audience, because people are there. Because I feel like I'm talking when I'm looking at right into just a camera or whatever. I feel like I'm just talking to this void, to this nothingness. Just this void, and then you wonder if it's even going anywhere. So I think that's what it is. I think it's not having the audience. So maybe that's it. I don't know.
Okay, well, we learn something about one another all the time. But
I know. So I think that's kind of everything's evolving, and you never really. I think as things start to go along, you have to really evolve with things. You really have to evolve and see kind of how things are starting to. You'll figure out what you're good at. You kind of figure out where your strengths lie, what you're good at, what you're not good at. And the one thing you aren't good at, you'll either figure out a way to adapt, or you'll either figure out a way to adapt, or you will, or you're just going to not do that anymore. And that's okay. It's just at least you tried. I think then that's where a lot of us have to find out we're not going to be good at everything. And that's what a lot of this summer was for me. It was finding out, like, hey, I'm not good at this thing. I'm good at this thing. And we're going to talk about our summers here in a little bit, but I think for me there was a lot of finding out what you're good at, what you're not good at, focusing on the things you're good at, and just going from there.
Okay. Wow. Let's talk about summer.
Yeah.
How was yours?
It was. When you're like an adult, do you even really have a summer? But no, I'm one of the lucky ones. I have my husband and I, he doesn't work the entire month of July, so we were able to take off, and we went to Canada, we went to Hawaii, we went to Toronto, we went to Hawaii, and so we had a good time getting to go. I'd never been to Kauai, and I'd never been to the North Shore of Hawaii, so it was a really fun time.
Okay. I took a semi break.
A semi break.
I did. I'm going to explain the semi break. So
okay,
we got to take a break from podcasting. I also took a break from school. I don't teach during the summer. I teach. I teach very long semesters, so I teach 15 to 16-week semesters in the fall and in the spring. So it makes the summer, that short, very short summer, if you're in school, it's really cramped. I am not a fan of cramps because my schedule is so busy. So I took the summer off from teaching.
Nice.
And not
okay,
having
all right.
the podcast, you get the opportunity to revamp and you meet people. I did some public speaking. I did some vending because I launched my brand in May, Unapologetic by Dr. G. So just designing, the fall and designing my summer collection and just doing
you'll have to talk about that.
Yeah, and just figuring out what people like, what people don't like. And I'm very grateful that my brand, I've sold out of some, several of the T-shirts, several of the notepads. I've had to restock some. I have some people, I had in my mind, I didn't want to bring back all of the same designs that I had for the summer, but apparently there's a demand for some of them, so I'm considering it now.
Yeah.
And so learning those processes, I was really grateful to take that break. But I did get to travel a little bit. Went to Hawaii, and it was also a really busy summer because I had 3 graduations that I had to go to. I had 2 nieces graduate, and my goddaughter graduated all of them graduated from high school. Started college. Yes, and so the summer felt like it did not stop. It kind of feel like it's still going because technically it is still summer.
Technically it is. It's like 98 degrees out here. It's still summer. As far as I'm concerned, until it's consistently below 70, I'll consider it summer. And that's just my definition. But that's also considering, I came from the north, so that's where, all right, that's what I'll consider that to be summer. Anything has to be consistently below 70, so yeah, then it'll be summer.
Okay. Well, you know what? We're going to bring on a guest today, and her name is Carletta Carson. Carletta, are you on the line?
Hello.
Yes. Welcome to being the first guest on HERSPIRATION Happy Hour. So we're talking about summer. How was your summer?
This summer was awesome. I got to do some traveling, made up for last year. So I went to Greece.
Oh,
you went to Greece. Ooh, all right. Where in Greece did you get to go?
I did a land and sea trip, so we went to Athens and spent a couple of days there touring the city. Then we went to a cruise, and I cruised for 3 days and island hopped to 5 ports.
Oh,
so it was quite an adventure. And it was to celebrate a 30th birthday. So that person had a wonderful time, and it was awesome to see Santorini, Mykonos. We went to Turkey. We went to Patmos, and then I finished the trip up in Athens again.
I don't know, Zoe, I'm feeling a little bit jealous right now.
I am too. I'm really jealous because that sounds like a really cool birthday. So
it wasn't my birthday. I wish I was turning 30 again.
I would not do that. I don't think I would go back to 30. I absolutely brought in my 40s. I can barely remember it, but I brought in, after I turned 40, I think life is just different. You view life so different. I think you become really comfortable with your body by that point. I mean, kudos if you do it before then, but I think you really stop caring, really to a different level. For me, I can't speak for anybody else. I just think you find a different level of peace once you turn 40. It's like you cross that threshold, and there's freedom.
You know what it is? It's your brand. It's the fact that you are like, I'm older now. I'm okay with where I am in life, and things are all good, so I'm going to live it to the fullest. It's that. You've made all the mistakes prayerfully that you have to make in the 20s and 30s, but your 40s is just about living life and enjoying it.
Oh, I'm sure we can find. I'm trust me. I'm sure Pamela can find some ways to make her mistakes in her 40s. Don't worry. It's just different kinds of mistakes.
Yes.
Those are the good mistakes, though.
That's the good mistakes.
And look, those are those good mistakes that you just, hate that there's now social media and cameras. So you are cautious about making those mistakes because cell phones are not kind at all.
No, they are not. But when you turned 40, that was a good time. We had a good night because we all turned 40.
Oh, yeah, you know what? You're right. Several of us turned 40 that year. You turned before me, a month before.
Yes. We are a month apart.
Oh,
see, look at that.
So that means you have a birthday coming up then.
Yes, I do, actually.
What are your plans?
I have no plans this year. I am going to wing it.
You're going to wing it.
That's the best way. That is the best way you can. That sounds fun. I like it. The winging it. That's a good. That sounds like a fun time.
I celebrate the whole month, and I do whatever comes up. Any event, any invite, I accept them all the whole month.
Is it like there was that movie? What was it? The movie where who was? I think it was like Jim Carrey or something. He had to say. I think it was like yes. He had to say yes to everything. Anything anyone asked him to do, he had to say yes to. I like that idea. That's a cool idea. That I really like that. I couldn't even imagine. Can you imagine if every time you said yes to something, all the cool new things you get to try?
Yep.
No,
I like it. Says, oh, you want to participate? I go, okay. It's my birthday month.
Yes. Yes.
So do you really think with the men that we have in our lives that we should say yes to everything for a month?
Well, with my husband, it would be I'd have to learn how to play NBA 2K on the PlayStation. I'd have to learn how to play Call of Duty. I'd have to learn how to play a lot of video games really quickly. That would be what I'd have to learn. Like master some video games. But
gosh, I would never. Well, not me. I would never say yes to everything Jay wants to do. Every shot, every bar. Oh my gosh, I don't mind the travel, but yes, he would. I think he would love a month of yes, because all the things that whenever he tells me just to sit my ass down somewhere, then I'd have to sit down, and that's just not like me. I'm a busybody, so I feel the need to always be moving. And he always say, "Why can't you just sit down?" I'm doing, decorations and hanging stuff up, or building shelves, or laying floors, or whatever project that I will find if I'm bored.
Yeah.
If you need a new project, call me.
I am still working on projects in my home, so I don't think I will be taking on any new projects for a while. So, Zoe, what else did you do this summer? Do you feel like you accomplished much?
Well, yeah, but first of all, I actually want to tell you guys something about my boss. So my old boss was a huge jerk, but he has the best life advice. No, this is the one good. I want to say the one good thing about my old boss. He was, let's see, I worked for him from when he was 42 to 48. I was with him for 6 years, and I remember when he was 30. He told me a story when he was 30, because he was a really good snowboarder. He was in really good shape, and he was the kind of guy. If he was in killer shape, I'll give him credit where credit's due. Well, I asked him, he learned how he was a good snowboarder, and he didn't learn how to snowboard till he was 36. And the reason he learned how to snowboard when he was 36, because that's old for people to learn. It's like snowboarding. You're going to be good at it if you learn when you're younger. I didn't learn how to ski till I was 22, and it took me not a long time, but it was harder to get good because I had those fears to overcome. Snowboarding is even scarier than skiing, and as an adult, you have those fears to overcome. Well, my boss, he He learned how to snowboard when he was 36, and he put his mind to it because someone asked him, and he said yes. And the reason he said yes is because he said he didn't want to be the only guy. He was with a group of his friends, I guess. They went on a snowboarding trip. He didn't want to be the only one who sat down at the lodge. So he said yes, and he had no idea what he was doing. He talked about the first time, just fell and fell and fell. But then he decided that he was going to get really good at it because he wanted everyone time people asked him to be able to say yes. And by the time I left him in 2018, yeah, it was last year is when I left Upside Collapse. He was good. He would go down. He would be in the park. He'd be doing tricks past kids who were like 17 and 18, and he was really, really good. So it was just like, you can't. He always said you can't never be limited by your age. And that was the one thing he said. He would hold everyone to the same expectations, as whether you were 21, whether you were 41, whether you were 61. That everybody, that you should always keep trying and stuff like that. Always keep trying new things. I think that was one of the best life lessons I ever learned from him.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
he was
awesome.
A huge jerk. Other than that, he was a complete and total d-bag.
So what about you? What about you, Carletta? What is something you learned about yourself this summer?
I have learned that I need to be more open to new experiences.
We can go hang out with my boss. Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna ask you to expound on that a little bit. What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
Just open to trying new things, new experiences. Not be so, I guess, reserved is a way to describe it. Even when I'm amongst people I don't know or in different situations, I'm more of a person that will stay back and just watch instead of participating.
All right.
Okay. So are you, so do you date yourself in your new experiences?
No, I do not date myself, but I was told that
do you, Zoe?
Learn.
But wait, I don't understand the question.
Do you date
do I
yourself?
date myself?
Do you take yourself out on dates?
No, I don't. If you consider yes, I do. I sometimes go skiing by myself, and that's because if nobody else will go with me, and I'd never done that before. I think last year. That's the only time I'll really. Yeah, I think that's kind of a date. Going skiing is a date. Yeah, I'll go up there. I'll drive all the way up to Park City, and I'll ski all day by myself, and I'll sit there, and I'll just eat lunch by myself, and then I'll ski the rest of the day by myself. That's about all I do to date myself. Yeah. Do you take yourself on dates?
I do, but I was going to also say that is taking yourself out on a date. I do date myself. So every now and again, I treat myself to dinner or I treat myself to a movie. And I think I was sharing this with you, Carletta, before, how I even will dress up just to take myself out. And here's
That's
the
cool.
logic.
I like that, yeah.
Yeah, here's the logic why. I think we spend a lifetime, and here's what I learned, of course, in my 40s. We spend a good bit of our 20s and 30s wanting to impress people outside of us, trying to fit in, so to speak. So we do things at the pleasure of others. When we go out on a date with a man, guess what? We want to get all dolled up and dressed up. But when it comes to ourselves and our own self-care and our own self-love, we don't do that. We might just say, well, I'm just going to run to the movies. I'm going to throw on these sweatpants and a T-shirt, and I'm just going to go. I don't do that.
That would be me.
Yes, so I don't want to be that way. I feel like the same effort that I will give attention to myself, then when it comes to a man, I already know that I'm going to be myself with him. I don't have to dress up to be with him, or I can dress down to be with him. So it's all in how you do your self-care. And I think dating myself, I get to learn more about the things that I love. And I also can learn how to be alone, not lonely, but alone in my own space, because I don't need a relationship. Now, granted, I've been in the same relationship for 6 years, but I don't need that person around me all the time to have fun. I know how to have fun by myself. I know the things that I love, and these are things that you can introduce to the person that you're with.
True. That's true. That's true.
Good.
So I date myself for self-care. I think that's my level of self-care. And it's so weird. My cousin Ashley, if you ever hear her speak, I mean, she's amazing. And she always talks about self-care. And she always talks about how women say, oh, well, I go get my hair done, I go get my nails done. And she points out something that is so important. That's just basic hygiene. You should want to have your hair done. You should want to have your nails done. That's basic self-care. So we have to change the narrative on what self-care really means. And so for me, I think dating yourself is a level of self-care because you learn how to do things by yourself and not feel inadequate or uncomfortable.
That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah. I work from home mostly, so I'm at home pretty much all day by myself. So I do get a lot. I have definitely get a lot of being by myself, so I completely understand. That's and I do, and I do. But like what I was finding a routine for is every day that because if I don't have to go anywhere, I'll wake up, go to the gym, and then I'll come back to work. I was barely like brushing my hair, and I was just I was feeling like a bum because I was like, well, if no one's like my husband's going to see me, he can see me just in loungewear. And then I sort of started to just feel a little bit more down. So now I try to at least put on real clothes, brush my hair, and not, kind of at least do a little bit of something just so I feel like I'm still sort of human. So I'm not just totally bumming around all the time. Because again, after you do that for 5 days, you do that for 5 days in a row, and you start to feel, you don't feel as good about yourself, I guess I could say.
Okay, I can see that. I can definitely see that. I don't know if and it's so weird. I don't really have like bum around clothes. I just don't. If I have to paint, I'm telling you, if I have to paint now, I mean, it depends on what you say is considered bum around clothes. I have sweatpants.
You have bumming around. I've seen you. You've got bumming around clothes. Just like sweat. That's a bum around clothes.
Oh, but see, my sweats are not the typical bum around clothes because I wear my sweats with heels sometimes. Yeah, I'm a total diva. So that's what I'm saying. So
workout.
I don't have just really loose, baggy sweatpants or even. I will give you an example. When I have to paint anything in my house, I literally have to find shirts that I either work out in, which are still kind of designer because I like cute tees that are fitted, and so I'm painting in that kind of stuff. I don't just have like big tees or anything else. When I want to put on a big T-shirt, guess what? I take one of Jay's. So I don't really have, I'm so weird. I don't have bum around clothes. I feel like all of my pajamas are sexy. I don't care whether they are thermals or not. They're fitted. I can be by myself. I just feel like I need to have that standard of care about myself. Or maybe is that vanity then?
No, I wouldn't say that.
But I don't find it unusual, but that's just me.
I mean, some people you're comfortable with what you're comfortable in. Like I prefer leggings and a T-shirt over a dress. I mean, you're just comfortable in your skin, and whatever type clothes makes you feel the best, then that's what you do. I don't think vanity is because you have no casual clothes. I don't think that's being vain.
Hey, I have casual clothes. They're just not. I buy my clothes to fit, not be tight, and I'm always covered. It's not like I'm out here letting everything hang out. I'm very conservative, but I feel like, my clothes have to fit me. I don't care what.
I will. The next time that I'm getting ready to go through and give all my grubby clothes to the homeless people, I'll send some out to you. Because I get so many. I get all my sister's hand-me-down clothes, and then Pamela, I've actually done some of your hand-me-down clothes, which is cool too. I get hand-me-down clothes from I always say, you're the big sister I never had, and so I get hand-me-down clothes from my real sister who's the same age as me, and then I get some from you. But next time I have so many clothes. I've been the same size about since I was 14, so things accumulate. So I will give you an old T-shirt from my high school, so you can walk around representing the Royals. I've got a tub. Literally, I don't know why I haven't thrown them out. A tub of HSE Royals T-shirts. I will give you a Royals I will send you out some Royals T-shirts. So you can rep Southeastern out there. That's so
funny.
My
gosh. Okay. Well, you know what? We're coming not too far from the end of our show. So, Carletta, thank you so much for joining us today. And we're going to see if there's anybody on the line.
I also want to know, Carletta, what's the first? Have you been invited to anything for your birthday month yet? Because surely someone's asked you, and if you guys say yes, we want to know what's first on deck.
Okay, so first I bought a ticket to it's called a backyard hangout, where it's a function by somebody's Mason Club. I'll be attending that. I have a retirement party that I'm helping plan, and I have to attend. And my old busmates, we're going to pick a date to have a girls' day. So that's the three things I have so far. So I'm working on my calendar as we speak.
Yeah, I can always let you borrow mine. You always stay busy.
No, I don't want to be your kind of busy.
I'm just saying you would never have a dull moment. That's for certain. Yeah, okay. Well, thank you so much. And I'm trying to see if there's anybody on the line that would like to share what they, did this summer. There anybody there online?
Anybody there on the line? Anybody on the line? I honestly think, Pamela, I think that we should have probably reminded people that they could call in, because I don't think a lot of people realize. I know we posted it today. I think we'll just kind of have to let people know in the next week, hey, you guys can call into the show. You guys can call in. Here's the numbers. So I think we're definitely going to have to let people know, because it's something new, and people need to hear something 7 times now before they get it. So I think people just don't really know that they can do that yet. So
and that's true, and
we'll definitely make you more aware.
Of course, and this is the first show, so that's kind of nice. So you know what?
It is.
Since we don't have anyone on the line right now, I'd like to ask you, what challenge did you face this summer with yourself?
Who are you asking me?
Yes, you.
Let's see here. Trying to think here. I'm gonna go with. Okay, well, I'll give you one, then I'll give you the story, because I can at least tell a funny story here. Mine was I was very, very frustrated with writing, just frustrated because it was not going the way I wanted to. I kept getting rejected by the big names, and I think that it's hard because you see all these other people doing so well. You see people, they're like, I'm in with these writers groups, and they're just like, I just got a piece in the New York Times, I got a piece in the Wall Street Journal. I was just getting rejection after rejection. So earlier in the summer, I think I was about the point where I was like, I'm just going to kind of quit, and I really wasn't doing much of anything, and then I was back home in Canada with my parents, and I hadn't applied to I hadn't sent anything to be submitted for maybe about a month or so, and I got a final rejection from one of the big names, and so it was a women's vertical. That's right. I don't want to mention who it is in case they ever publish me again, but it was a women's vertical in a pretty big publication. So I come out of my little room, and sitting there on the couch, and we live on Lake Erie, so it's kind of where, and we have, and so that kind of where the story is going to get interesting. And so I told my mom, she's like, well, what's the matter? I was like, this big name rejected me. She's like, oh, I thought something actually bad happened. I'm like, well, no, I'm upset because I wanted this. She's like, oh, well, and she says, do you want a lemon? She's like, here, do you want a vodka lemonade popsicle? And I was like, fine. And this was actually on 4th of July that I got rejected, July 4th. So I'm sitting there, and so she's like, let's make fun of some of the other people whose articles have gone published in this. And I was like, wow. And so I was sitting there, and she's just like, and she's reading them out loud. She's like, look, she's like, you did all these things. She's like, these aren't even that good. She's like, they're just writing about how much they hate the patriarchy this, the patriarchy that, the patriarchy's oppressive. She's like, that's all they're writing about. She's like, you're at age, she's like, that's what you got to write about. And so my dad says, he goes, all right. He's like, fine. He said, go out and clean fish flies off the pool, and then vacuum the pool, and tell them the patriarchy did it, and then write a think piece about it. And the fact that he just was just so sarcastic about that made me laugh, and I realized how dumb it was that I was upset about this. So I think then that kind of, the fact that he just laughed about the fact that I was upset that something that let something so little upset me, that I was like, okay, then I'm going to get back into it. So when I got back, so I just kind of took off the rest of Canada and Hawaii. I didn't write it all. Then when I got back, I wrote, and then I hit big about 2 weeks ago with a piece in Zora, Medium's new publication. So it was that I guess I just had to stop letting it upset me so much, and that's kind of why I had to learn. I had to learn to the rejection's going to happen. You're going to have to take feedback. You have to take rejection, everything like that. Just kind of really don't let it define you. And that's where I was at. So, yeah. All right. What about you guys, though?
For me, oh, my gosh. I'm trying to think of just challenges. This summer, I really learned balance. I mean, I typically balance, I am the type that I live on my calendar, and I balance my life out very well, but I did not realize how full my plate was until I stopped podcasting and teaching. And then, then the other challenge was spending the last 6 months in a new position that just has been nonstop and trying to get a handle on those things. And so that's been my challenge, is just trying to balance out my new job and a new brand and all of those things. And I felt like even though I didn't do as much this summer as I normally would during like the fall and the spring, I felt twice as tired. I felt twice as tired this summer than I had in a long time. And so the challenge for me was just having to find a new way of balancing myself out, which is not that easy. It really is not. And so that self-care, went out the window for a little bit. Just trying to find that new normal with my new job. Because, when you start something new, you got to find that balance of continuity of like, okay, I know what I'm doing here, and it's really just learning the new place. I mean, thankfully, my job is by, it goes by the law, so it's kind of easy. But what's difficult is being able to write and justify the need for money at a new organization. That in and of itself is a real challenge when you're dealing with a whole entirely different climate and different level of people. When I left a job at State where it was a lot of camaraderie and there was a little more openness and it felt more like a family, and then when I got where I'm at now, it's not so much that way. So it's definitely an adjustment. It's also a very small agency, so just trying to wrap my head around all of that, I just feel like even when I was traveling and doing all of these things, especially as much as I was doing before I started this new job, I'm still twice as tired mentally, and more mental tired, which is way more, way worse than physical.
Yeah.
Mental burnout. So now I'm trying to figure out how I can, put some balance in there to add working out or yoga or something, something in my schedule for fitness. Because I think I miss that now. I've lost that. I feel the urge to run again. And so just finding time to make time for that now. That's going to be my new challenge at this point.
Awesome. Carletta, what about you?
I think she's departed.
You think she's departed? Okay,
I think
cool.
she's departed already.
It's great to have her. Awesome. Well, it's great to have her. Yeah, it's great to have her on, definitely. And I think that's what, and for the listeners, if you have any listening, and people, and the great thing is that people are going to be able to listen to this even after it's over, which is I guess we have the best of both worlds, that we have it live and people can listen to it afterwards, that we're going to have some exciting guests on here in the near future, and I'm excited about getting a new, because we've had such great guests, maybe bring some of them back in our new format, having some new guests. I'm really excited to see what all we're going to have.
I would love to catch up with some of our former guests. I think that would be one of the best things, is to bring some of them back. I mean, I definitely want to have some new ones on, but I would love to just see how the last year has treated our guests, considering, November will be at our 2-year, anniversary for HERSPIRATION. Yes, and the fact that we are in season 2, and I'm loving how we've grown. We've grown from just being on a podcast to now being on a talk radio. That is to me is a pretty significant shift. Yeah. For year 2, and so I'm really excited to have the ability to have people just be able to call in and be a part of the show, and then just hearing from some of our guests. So the good thing is that anybody who's listening, if you want to be a guest on the show in particular for a little longer bit of time, do reach out. We can be found at admin@herspiration.com. So just reach out to that, that email, and we'll definitely love to have you on.
And then our social media. Don't forget. And obviously, following us on social media. That's where you get a lot of our ideas, and meet a lot of people, and get a lot of ideas for guests. Even if you know somebody you think would make a great guest, definitely let us know.
Oh yeah, and you can refer guests. I think some of my guests have come from referral and networking. So and that's
and just meeting people. Yeah, meeting people who. That's the best part of that, is one of the. We get to know so many people through the shows that we do, through the people that we meet, through the adventures that we go on, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. So what do you personally have coming up for yourself? Any travel? Any work plans?
I'm going to go attending in late October. I'm going to go to New York City, and then I'm going for a few days. I'm going to go to Vermont. I'm going to go to Vermont for the first time. I'm going to do Maine, Vermont, and New Hampshire. So I'll get to check all of these states I've never been to off I'll call it my Northeast extravaganza. The places I've never been to, I'll get to check that off the list. I'm excited about that. What about you?
And I'm going to say that in a second, but you know what? I want to go to Maine so bad. I have a friend that lives there, and I definitely want to go to Maine. So that's on my bucket list, just, probably not during the winter months, because it gets extremely cold. The only thing that's really coming up for me in terms of travel is I'm going to go to Miami to celebrate, Jay's 40th. That's
fun.
next weekend. And then, for my birthday in November, I always try to do a trip for my birthday every year. This year, I'm going to go to Israel. So I want to visit Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, and if I can make it to Jordan, I definitely plan to. So that's kind of what I want my trip for my birthday this year. It's not even a milestone year, and I'm going like that, because I think for me, for my 40th, when I went to Egypt, that was so nice. But I don't really want to wait to go, back on that side. For my next birthday. So I don't want to wait till I'm like 45 or 50.
Well, there's a lot. There's crazy. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. All the different countries.
I'll be 45 next year. Look, I'll be 45 next year. So I mean, it'll just be waiting a year. But next year.
Yeah, that's not that long. I don't want to say it.
But I want to go to Chiang Mai. I want to go to Chiang Mai and Thailand for next year.
Well, that sounds fun.
Have you been to Thailand?
I went to Thailand. Yeah, through Thailand, and I remember it a little bit. We stayed there for like a day, and it was from what I remember, it was cool. But I definitely need to I want to go back as an adult. I want to go to Seoul, South Korea, and I want to go to I want to go check out Thailand, and there's another place over there I want to. Oh, I want to go back to Malaysia. Yeah, I went there when I was a kid. So yeah.
You know what? I did like Malaysia. Malaysia was really nice. Of course, I traveled there quite a bit for work, and their food. Oh my gosh, their food is amazing. I'm trying to think, and I think it's in the West End there. I used to stay there every time I went, and then one time I went, I was mad because they didn't put me in they put me in, I'm trying to think of the name of it. What's the one that, I know President Obama stayed there when he was president there, but I didn't care for their food at all. I mean, they had a great tea time, and their food was good, but I used the breakfast over, and I think it was in the West End. Oh, my gosh, they had the most amazing breakfast. I used to get up at like 6 in the morning. And just so that I can have at least 2 hours just to sit there and consume anything that I wanted from their breakfast bar. Total gluttony, I tell you, total gluttony. But the food was really good. But I did enjoy sightseeing around Malaysia as well, especially with all the movies.
Yeah, they're every, that was what I was about to say. I remember. Okay, so they're still there. Cause, sometimes you wonder, like, you go to a place when you're a kid, and you wonder what's gonna be like that, when you're older, and that's. I'm definitely, that's interesting. That's very that's interesting to know. So definitely, no, I'm excited. I definitely am excited to go at least and I'm going to Seattle right after that. So I've never been to Seattle, so I'm going to Seattle in early November. I'm really excited. I've never been to Seattle.
Have you met my cousin Ashley?
Is it Ashley Whittle Ashley or a different Ashley? I've never met. I don't think I've met.
No, this is my Ashley McGurk. She's a therapist.
I've never met her in person. I've never met her in person, but I've talked to her. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So she actually lives in Seattle. That's where she's from. So I went to visit her in Seattle. Yeah. So it's a great place, a really great place. I did enjoy. I need to get back there myself. But I was there for a little bit, I think October a couple of years ago, and it was kind of cool because I got to meet a lot of my family that's on that end. But I'll be seeing Ashley soon. I think she's coming this way at the end of the month, so I'll get to see her when she comes here. And then, of course, I do need to still come back out and visit Utah.
I know. You need to come when it's snowing so you can see you can try to ski.
No, ma'am. Just knowing that I have to get on an airplane, I don't want to break anything. I think that's my fear. I used to go to Toronto or just above Blue Mountain in Canada every January for for 2 years straight. And I don't know, I was too scared because I just felt like I don't want to break anything. And it would just be my luck. I've never broke a bone in my life, and that'd probably be how.
It's not that hard if you stick to the if you stick to the easy stuff, you'll really be okay. But that's all right. I got it. Or we'll find someplace cool for you to go. Wait, you're going to Miami next weekend? Is the hurricane going to happen there? Because the hurricane's moving real slow, right?
I'm hoping that it should be past there. If not, then I guess I'll be.
Well, isn't it like moving really like isn't it moving really slow? Isn't it moving really slow? Because you're supposed to go to Miami. I heard the hurricane's moving super, super slow. Like it's losing it's losing strength, but it's just moving really slow. So you might won't be like in a hurricane, but you might be in might be a tropical storm, I guess, by then.
Well,
I don't know.
I was told that it would even hit Georgia by Friday, so I would have assumed that it would have been past that point. But I'm really hoping that it loses its momentum. I have a lot of family and friends that live in Florida and Georgia and South Carolina and North Carolina that, I would worry about. So, especially if it was still at that, momentum that it was before. But I think it's downgraded from a 5 to a 3. And so that to me is a little bit easier. And I used to live in Georgia, and so I've never really evacuated. But I do know when it is time to evacuate how hectic it can be. And, they've had the kids out of school, I think, all week. So let's just, I'm going to say a prayer that, it really loses its momentum by the time it really comes up into the Georgia or the Florida-Georgia line and whatnot.
Nice.
And don't tear up Miami too much.
Yeah, and I do hope you have fun for Jay's birthday though.
Yes, this is milestone, so we're excited to go and celebrate.
Fun. Well, yeah, Rob just had his 30th birthday last year, so I completely understand. So it's if Jay's not gonna wrestle any bulls, I'm sure at least I'm not gonna worry about him wrestling any bulls. So there's that.
That's true. Yes, he wouldn't even wrestle a bull, so I wouldn't have to even worry about that. So that's not what he does. So we have about 5 minutes left. Do you want to say anything to the listeners before we, cling our glasses and cheers our way up out of here?
No, I think I'm really excited to just see what this season, I guess, holds for us, and hopefully, just really encourage everyone to give us your feedback on social media. Just really let us know. Just really let us kind of know what you want to hear more of. If you have any ideas for guests, if there's anything that you kind of want to hear, just let us know. Because we do take your feedback into consideration, which is, I think, super important to know that we take all your feedback into consideration. And with the show's not about us, it's about you. So yeah, it's about you guys. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, and we want this to be interactive. I can listen to myself talk anytime. I can stand in the mirror and talk to myself. I want to talk to. We want to talk with as many different people as possible. So yeah.
I agree. And so for me, I want to thank all the listeners for tuning in on our first podcast. And, believe it or not, it gets better and our drinks get better. And, and look, maybe, I'm surprised we didn't do a fireball shot, but, maybe we'll reserve that for the next time.
This is episode number 1. There's always time for fireball shots.
I know, and so I had my favorite drink this time. So, in 2 weeks we'll have to have your favorite drink, and so you got to pick the next drink. But I do love my my jalapeno martinis, and if you like spicy drinks, then you all can definitely you can find now.
Oh yeah.
Where they have jalapeno vodka. I recommend making your own. I actually like mine because you can make it as hot as you want it, which is perfect for me, and it goes great with a margarita. Oh, yeah.
That's true. That is true.
I like to do spicy margaritas. Exactly. So if you make your own, they make really great spicy margaritas. And other than that, you can definitely follow us on Instagram at Herspiration Happy Hour. Definitely give us feedback. And we're really going to take that feedback. And, our show is about inspiring people and finding that balance and just hearing from you. And everybody has a story that I think can touch somebody. And so when you come on and you share your stories, trust me, it would circulate, and somebody else, was looking for an answer of how they can, do something better or live better or be better. So, yes, definitely. As far as my personal, or you can also find us on Facebook at Herspiration. My personal brand is I am Dr. P. Gurley, and so you can find me on both Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram, all at the same, at I am Dr. P. Gurley. It's DrPGurley, I am. So that's where you can find me at. And I love to put content out there. Buy my merchandise brand because I live my life by it. It's Unapologetic by Dr. G. And, it's T-shirts. I'm debating what else I want to put. So, without further ado, we are going to sign off for tonight. So cheers to you, Zoe.
Cheers. Cheers to you, too. Clinking the glasses here. Yay.
Yay. Season 2 down.
All righty. And have a great rest of the week, everyone. Oh, and send us your drink recipes, too. We love hearing from that, too, as well.
Oh, yes, definitely. All right. Have a good evening.
Take care, everyone. Bye.
And a great happy hour.
Great happy hour. Bye.